A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Today inshallah we are going to study a very simple concept, and it's about the grammatical classification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creatures. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on with our lesson, which most probably is going to be the smallest in the entire series. Okay, a very simple slide, not at all busy like the usual ones. So let's get on with it immediately. Okay, so what do I say here? I say that based on the possession of intellect, the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have been grammatically divided into two types. Now this is important. Okay, grammatically divided into two types, because you see the classification is simply too much. There is a huge classification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creatures, and I don't think anybody can ever classify them, whether scientifically or not. You can't really do that. But grammatically, there is a very simple classification, and that is simply the possession of intellect. The word aqil simply means that the person possesses intellect, and the word ghair means absence or none. So ghair aqil means someone or something that does not possess intellect. Okay, so this is a very simple thing. What is included in aqil? Only three species: humans, jinns, and angels, because they possess intellect. Okay, and everything else is ghair aqil. Okay, so all the inanimate objects, all the plants, or all the animals, and the I don't know, the the microorganisms and everything, all of that is ghair aqil. Okay, quite simple really. Now, what is the significance? Why do we have to know this? The reason is that all the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually ism, isn't it? Because remember how we said in the beginning that the Arabic words are of three types. We have ism, we have fi'l, and we have haruf, right? So all the creation or all the creatures of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come under this category, doesn't it? It does. So we have established that all the creatures are asma or ism. Now, what do we know about ism? We know that an ism has four characteristics, right? What are they? They are its i'rab, whether they're rafa nasab or jar. We have its number, whether it's wahid, musanna or jama. We have its status, whether it's marfa or nakra. Okay, so status, marfa or nakra. And we have the grammatical gender. Okay, now we are going to touch on this very briefly, but know that the grammatical gender is something that is one of the four properties that every ism has. Okay, so we need to know if an ism is feminine or not. So for that reason, we have classified these creatures, all the creatures actually, into ghair aqil and aqil, so that we can determine their gender. Why is it so important? This is something that you're going to learn subsequently in the upcoming lessons, inshallah. Okay, but for now, just remember that you absolutely have to know the gender of the ism, no matter what. So what's the big deal about it? For the aqil asma, the ones that possess intellect, we have their jama salim as well as jama mukassir, and they are treated as masculine as well as feminine. All right, now let me elaborate on this point. The word rajulun means a man. Okay, a man, and its plural is rijalun actually. Okay, rijalun. All right, This means men, and not two men, but more than two men. So it's either a few men or many men. Okay, so this is Jama. All right. Now the thing about Rijalun is that it is, we all know, masculine, right? It is, of course, the dictionary meanings tell us. However, in the Arabic grammar, it can also be treated as a grammatical feminine ism. Okay, and one of the examples for that we all know is the word rusulun. Rusulun. This is the Jama Mukassir for prophets or messengers, all right? And of course, they're aql. And the Wahid for the word Rusulun is Rasulun, all right? So this is, of course, masculine, and the word Rusulun is treated both as masculine as well as feminine. How do I say that? Because the name of the third juz is Tilka Rusul, and the word Tilka is actually your feminine pointing noun. Okay, so for the feminine, grammatically feminine nouns, we point towards them with this word, Tilka. Alright, you're never going to say Tilka Kitabun. This is a book. Alright, because this Tilka is used for the grammatically feminine nouns. You're going to say Haza Kitabun because the word Haza is used for grammatically masculine nouns, for pointing towards the grammatically masculine nouns. Alright, but Tilka is used to point towards the ism that is grammatically feminine. So we have Tilka Rusul. Alright, so you see, the Jama Salim or Mukassir of Aqil nouns get treated both as masculine as well as feminine. This point is something that you need to understand and remember for the rest of your lives so that your lives can be made easy, really. Otherwise, you'll be all confused when you proceed with your, recitations and all these things. Okay, so I hope this point is clear. And what about Ghair Aqil Asma? Well, they have their Jama Salim. Well, very, very rarely, for example, Jannatin, that is the example of Jama Salim. We are going to touch on these plural types and all these things in the upcoming few lessons, yeah. But about the thing that we are going to discuss here is that the Jama Salim and the Mukassir of Ghair Aqil Asma is treated only as feminine. Okay, so well, you are not going to find many Jama Salim of Ghair Aqil Asma, but occasionally there might be some. Very rarely. Okay, not even occasionally. So that's what. When you have the Jama Mukassir of Ghair Aqil, it is always going to be treated as feminine, no matter what. Okay. So this was our lesson about the grammatical classification of creatures. I hope that this is important enough, or I hope that this you have understood how important it is, and well, and I really hope that it is clear as well. And of course, if you require any more elaboration or clarification regarding any point, feel free to contact me so that I can clarify it further, inshallah ta'ala. So we are done with our concept and the significance of this concept and why knowing this thing is necessary. Okay, what triggered this grammatical classification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creatures. Okay, so with that, I'll see you in the next lesson, inshallah. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim. Allah Hafiz.